It was just another hot, dusty afternoon in the heart of Lagos, where the noise of traffic mixed with the buzz of people struggling through the day. Among them was a young woman named Amara, barely 23, working as a waitress at a small roadside restaurant near the central market. Her uniform was worn, her shoes had holes, but her heart was pure and full of dreams she kept buried under layers of reality. Amara had lost her parents at a young age and had grown up with her younger brother in a small shared room in a rundown building. They barely had enough to eat. She worked from sunrise to nightfall to pay his school fees. Her world was not big, it was not beautiful, but she had learned to find joy in small things like a child's smile or a cool breeze after the sun had gone down. That day she was serving food to a customer when she noticed a little boy sitting alone on a bench just outside the restaurant. He looked clean, well-dressed, and out of place in that rough environment, but there was something else she noticed about him. He was blind. His eyes, though open, did not move with purpose, and he held a white cane clumsily in his small hands. She looked around for an adult to be with him, but saw no one concerned. She walked out and approached the boy gently. She asked if he was okay. He turned his face toward her and smiled softly, asking in a timid voice if she could help him find something to eat. Amara, without thinking twice, led him to an empty table inside the restaurant. She served him a plate of jollof rice with chicken and a cold bottle of water. She used her break time to feed him slowly, guiding the spoon to his mouth. She even wiped his face with a napkin like a mother would for her child. The boy kept smiling, and in between bites he told her his name was Junior. He said his father had left him on the bench and told him not to move until he came back. But it had been almost 2 hours. Amara's heart broke. She knew the streets were no place for a blind child to be alone. She decided to stay with him until the father returned, even though her manager was upset. She explained and risked losing her job, but she didn't care. Something in her spirit told her this child needed her. Nearly 3 hours passed before a black SUV pulled up outside the restaurant. A tall, well-dressed man stepped out wearing a designer suit and sunglasses. His presence immediately drew attention. He walked inside with urgency and spotted his son sitting with Amara. His expression hardened, and he walked over, demanding to know what she was doing with his child. Before Amara could explain, Junior jumped up and hugged his father's leg, telling him that Amara had helped him, fed him, and kept him company. The man paused, his eyes narrowing, as he took in the scene around him, the humble restaurant, the tired but sincere look on Amara's face, and the joy in his son's voice. That man was Chief Olamide Okoye, one of the richest men in Nigeria, owner of multiple companies across Africa. He had been testing people, he told Amara later. He wanted to see how the world treated his son when he wasn't around, because Junior had faced cruelty before, and Olamide was tired of shielding him from a world that didn't understand disability. He had been watching from a distance, testing not only his son's courage, but the humanity of strangers. What he did not expect was to find a soul so selfless and kind that it moved him deeply. Amara did not know who he was. She only saw a hungry child in need and gave all she had. He took her number that day and left without saying much, but the next morning, a luxury car arrived at her tiny apartment block with a letter inside. Was a job offer, a scholarship for her brother, and a note that read, "Sometimes God sends angels to test us. You passed with flying colors. Please come work at my foundation for the blind. I believe you are meant for something greater." Amara thought it was a dream. She wept, she laughed, she danced, she thanked God over and over again. She accepted the offer and started working at the foundation, where she helped train and care for blind children. She became like a mother to many. Her heart grew full as she did what she loved with dignity and purpose. Over time, Chief Olamide visited often, not just to check on the foundation, but to see Amara and Junior, who had grown deeply attached to her. The bond between them grew naturally, slowly, gently, like water filling an empty pot, without force, without pride. Olamide saw in her not just kindness, but wisdom, strength, and a soul that had seen hardship and still chose to love. Months passed, and one day at the end of a fundraiser event, Olamide stood before the crowd and called Amara to the stage. He held her hand and said in front of everyone that she was the woman who restored his faith in humanity, who reminded him that wealth meant nothing without compassion, and that he was lucky to have her in his life. He proposed to her there in front of the children, the staff, the donors, and the media. Amara could barely breathe as she nodded, tears falling freely. Junior clapped and laughed, saying, "Now I have a real mommy." Their wedding was small but beautiful, held At the very foundation where it all began, Amara walked down the aisle in a white dress paid for by the same people she once served food to, and in her heart she carried every struggle, every hungry night, every tear, every prayer that led her to that moment. She never forgot where she came from and used her new life to uplift others, opening a training center for young girls in poverty, providing them with education, skills, and hope. She became a voice for those who had none, a light for those still in the dark. Her story spread across the continent, told in newspapers, on TV, and online as the girl who helped a blind boy and found not only love but a life she never imagined. And so her journey continues, not in palaces or cars, but in the lives she touches every day. For in giving she received, in kindness she found her purpose. If you felt touched by Amara's story, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps more inspiring stories like this reach world and remind us that a single act of kindness can change everything.